When Dragon Ball fans around the globe knew that Daima was going to be Akira Toriyama's last work, there was a lot of mixed emotions. Akira Toriyama, one of the most respected mangaka of all time, was dropping his final installment of the Dragon Ball series, and we're finding out that our favorite Z fighters are turned into kids? Why? Was Akira Toriyama intending to go back to the good old days of our classic original Dragon Ball series, or was there another reason for this? Many Dragon Ball fans out there, including myself, were anticipating a continuation of the Dragon Ball Super anime. So when we got this news, we really did not know what to expect. However, little did we know, Dragon Ball Daima was exactly what we all needed. When I watch Dragon Ball Daima, I kind of get comfort food vibes that I get from Free Run. The first 5 to 7 episodes are filled with a ton of world building and exposition, which is not something we're really used to when you're talking about the Dragon Ball series. I mean, we're talking about a series that is predicated on immediate action. However, because we are already familiar with the main cast, this method of more exposition and less action to start off was actually able to work out. When you think about Free Run, it's Free Run beyond Journey's End. You're seeing how Free Run is interacting with her world after their journey. Well, Daima kind of gave us this flavor. Similarly to Free Run, the battle of Majin Buu has just ended, and now there's a stillness in the Dragon Ball verse. Now before Daima, this stillness was broken by Beerus, who happened to be a god of destruction, and it was obviously immediate action going on. This forced Goku to become a Super Saiyan god, and we've seen the entire story play out. But because Toriyama planned Daima to take place chronologically before Dragon Ball Super, he needed another reason to make this happen. How was he really going to break the stillness? Why not use the background characters that are already there? This sole question created the best exposition in Dragon Ball history. When you think about Dragon Ball history overall, there's much room left to be desired. For example, we've known Bardock forever, who is Goku's father, but it took forever to see Jine on screen, Goku's mom. Many of the classic characters that we know and love from the original Dragon Ball, like Oolong or Yajirobe, have had their screen time cut to virtually zero. But Dragon Ball Daima allowed Toriyama to rectify this critique of his work. Characters like Supreme Kai, Piccolo, and even Dabura were never really expanded upon until now. Now, without a doubt, Daima has the best world building in all of Dragon Ball. Now, you can make a hard case for the original Dragon Ball series, but because Daima was able to accomplish more exposition with a smaller episode count, we have to give them a little bit of grace. We learned that King Gomah, the main antagonist, wants to preserve his rule in the demon realm, so he preemptively attacks the Z fighters by turning them into kids. As Dragon Ball fans, we already knew what this was when we saw it. Akira Toriyama had no choice but to write this hack in, because we already know what would have happened. Think about it. Post-arc Majin Buu, adult Goku, and adult Vegeta boxing against King Gomah and the others in the demon realm after Majin Buu just packed up Dabura? Dragon Ball Daima would have ended in 10 minutes or less. Even though this little cheese hack gimmick that Toriyama threw in seemed weird initially, once Goku made his way to the demon realm, it was quickly overshadowed. Now, in order to enter the demon realm, you have to get permission from this giant fish-like creature called Warp. This immediately made me think of the lengths that Babidi went through in the Majin Buu saga to actually pull off what he pulled off. Babidi traveled through different dimensions, going through Warp Sama and all these things just to get to the Z fighters. It's crazy, and have Majin Buu be revived. We also learned that the demon realm has a different atmospheric pressure to that of Earth, so it was hard for Goku to fly initially. The demon realm is separated into 3 different demon worlds, and they each hold a Dragon Ball. And in the second demon world, it's home to Glins, Namekians, people of Supreme Kai and Piccolo's races. We also learn about the planet of the giants in the demon realm called the Megap. The demon realm is also riddled with krakens in the sea. We learn about Piccolo's father. We learn that Supreme Kai's real name is Nahare. We learn about how Glins are born from trees. And we even learned that the revive bugs are used like senzu beans. And I love how Toriyama did this. He even made the Gendarmerie look like they were the Ginyu force of the demon realm. They literally had their own task force, and they were dancing, they had poses. It was a great callback. I loved it. Now, we did get the whole backstory on the Majin Buu creation process, and a lot of people were thrown off because it could be considered a retcon, but at least we understand it now. We discovered that Marba was actually the true creator of Majin Buu, which definitely plummeted Bibidi's stocks. But what this means is that that when you're looking at characters like Marba and Neva, they are among some of the greatest magicians in all of Dragon Ball, outside of the angels and up. Now, the antagonists are a very interesting part of Daima because their origins weren't really expected. I mean, I wasn't surprised that Dabuda's father was going to be an evil and cruel ruler, but Supreme Kai having two siblings and conspiring against the Z Fighters and also each other was wild. Now, his younger brother Degesu is definitely a snake. This man was on Team Gomah the whole show until the Z Fighters pulled up and he saw it looked like it was all over. It looked like all was lost. The first world was going under, and that's when immediately he switched up, took baby Dende as hostage and pointed a gun at him. Crazy work. But when you look at his older sister Arinsu, she had intelligence. She not only had Marba create Majin and Majin to help fight on her behalf and carry out all of her dirty work, but she even had her hand played in Glorio. At least we thought that's how it was going to play out. Then we have King Gomah, who kind of gave us some Pilaf vibes in the beginning, but once he got his hand on the tertian oculus, that's when it really got serious. Now, even though the Z Fighters were turned into kids in the beginning of Dragon Ball Daima, we still knew they were going to get busy. But what I did not anticipate was the rate at which Goku and Vegeta would unlock their new transformations. Now, Vegeta's Super Saiyan 3 transformation happened so fast against the second world Tamagami, but because they are kids, I gave it a little bit of grace. However, Goku's Super Saiyan 4 transformation was absolutely necessary. You're talking about King Gomah using the tertian oculus, the third eye, and absolutely looking like Broly. He was going crazy. King Gomah was outside manhandling all of the Z Fighters that nobody was able to really box with him except for Goku in Super Saiyan 4. Now imagine if the Brewer had his hands on the tertian oculus back in the Buu saga. It would have been crazy for Gohan. It would have been crazy for Majin Buu. The only issue I had with any of the fights in Dragon Ball Daima was specifically the fight between Goku and Gomah. And the only reason why I say that is because Goku achieved his Super Saiyan 4 transformation initially without achieving it on his own. It really took Neva to come through and unlock it for him. And if we recall what happened during the Battle of Gods, when Goku unlocked his Super Saiyan God transformation, he was disappointed that he couldn't achieve this transformation by himself. He had to use other Saiyans and other people to help power him up. That is Goku to a T. He loves to fight. And the fact that he was not upset that an outside person came in and unlocked a transformation for him did not really feel like Goku. Even though this happened, we were able to overlook this because the fight was absolutely stellar, and Goku was able to achieve the Super Saiyan 4 transformation once he was an adult by himself, so it kind of swept it under the rug. Overall, all the fights in Dragon Ball Daima are very, very well choreographed, and we have to obviously give Toriyama credit for appeasing the Dragon Ball GT fans out there that wanted Super Saiyan 4, because it looked great. When you watch Daima, you're instantly able to tell that Akira Toriyama was keeping his ear to the street. Most fans can't really tell if their favorite mangaka is hearing any feedback, but Toriyama clearly heard what was going on, and he absolutely answered the call with Dragon Ball Daima. The comedic moments were hilarious, like when Bulma threatened Vegeta with their bath time. We got Super Saiyan 4 Goku, Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta, both in their adult forms, by the way, not just the kid form. We got exposition on multiple Dragon Ball characters, and we even got a hyper focus on the importance of magic in the Dragon Ball verse. Normally, when you think about Dragon Ball and the power system in Dragon Ball, the immediate thing you think about is Ki. You see that Goku is fighting with Ki. Ki is the energy source that's powering all the energy blasts and all of that stuff, but magic is also a very key component in the verse as well. And this focus on magic is what makes characters like Neva so much more important to the Dragon Ball universe. I mean, Neva being a super old Namekian, having the power to literally shield off travel between demon worlds is ridiculous. He created the Tamagamis that were protecting the Dragon Balls. Now, something that Toriyama really loves to do in his writing is he loves to call back to former hotspots of his other series. For instance, Pansy's character was supposed to be the Bulma fill-in in the demon realm until Bulma arrived and you realize that they actually really aren't the same type of character, and that Pansy being a princess and we learned her entire backstory actually made it a lot more meaningful. And actually what helped it the most is the fact that Bulma and Pansy actually became friends, and not only were they doing technician work together, but they even were talking about trading items between the human realm and the demon realm, which was perfect. I love that. But my favorite callback in the entirety of Dragon Ball Daima has to be when Goku was transforming into Super Saiyan 4 as an adult. Because you already know, if you're a Dragon Ball fan, what Toriyama was trying to paint with this image. He did a direct callback to the first time Goku went Super Saiyan 3 against Majin Buu and Babidi. We saw exactly what happened. He went through each level and explained it to his opponent so they could see how intense these transformations are. They could see the importance of achieving such a high level feat. And he did the exact same thing to King Gomah. This is Super Saiyan 1, this is 2, this is Super Saiyan 3. Oh, by the way, I have a 4 coming out. Stay tuned. I loved every single second of it. That was perfect. Daima's an incredible series with all the great exposition, but there is one major issue that we cannot ignore. How is Dragon Ball Daima going to fit within the entirety of the Dragon Ball storyline without a retcon? Considering Dragon Ball GT is not canon and Dragon Ball Super is canon, Dragon Ball Daima is kind of left in a tough spot. Goku learned Super Saiyan 4 in Daima but never used it in Super. Vegeta learned Super Saiyan 3 but never used it against Beerus after Beerus melee rocked Bulma. Neva, who created the Demon Realm Dragon Balls, was never called upon again? I mean, it's really tough to believe that Daima could really fit canonically without there being some sort of memory wipe type of thing going on. But if there is a way to make this work within the Dragon Ball storyline, this will be one of the greatest works of all time from Akira Toriyama. The biggest critiques of Dragon Ball Z were the pacing and the lack of character depth. And Dragon Ball Daima actually answered the call for both of these questions with the exposition on the Dragon Ball history and its characters. Thank you to Akira Toriyama for this final installment of the Dragon Ball series. We love you. And you guys let me know down in the comment section below how you feel about Dragon Ball Daima. I honestly loved it and I wasn't expecting I would. And with that, I'll see you guys next time.